Hi everyone, welcome back to my craft room. If you're new to my craft room, then welcome. It's been a long time here, guys, over a month since I posted a video. I just want to say thank you so very much for all of my subscribers that have sent me cards and well wishes and thoughts and messages to my daughter to get to me and everything. I just appreciated it so much. Anybody that, watches my daughter's channel, I always have it listed underneath my videos here, Simply Jessica's Hauls and More. She's been trying to keep everybody updated on what was going on because I just have not felt like being on camera. But, I've decided that I'm going to have to stop feeling sorry for myself and just kind of move on with this new chapter of my life here, which is going to be dealing with something called CIPD, which the long version is, because I always write it down because I always forget how to pronounce it. It is called Chronic Inflammatory Demyelinating Polyneuropathy. That is the wonderful disease that I have decided to come up with. It's very rare. It's very kind of hard to diagnose, but let me tell you, after 3 weeks of being in the hospital and the wonderful tests that I had to go through, that team of about 10 neurologists have narrowed it down to this is what it is. It's very similar to some other diseases, like I'm trying to think of MS. There is one called Guillain-Barré disease, I think it's called. It's similar to that also. It's similar to ALS, and it's similar to, I don't know, there's quite a few. I'll probably think of more in the future to tell you guys, because I'm going to try to keep you updated on this because it's all new and we're still working on stuff. So far, the only really good thing that's come out of it is that they have managed to figure out how to manage the pain part of it, which was the worst part, was when the pain kicked in. So anyway, let me just tell you how this all kind of came about. I wrote this down. It was the most bizarre thing. Now, this is my own experience. I'm not making any medical claims here because I don't want to get in trouble for that, but I'm just telling you everything just from my experience and what I've been told as far as my condition. So this all started like 3 months ago. I started having hip pain. You guys know I was complaining about my hip pain, my back pain, all this other stuff. So I went to my doctor and he thought it was sciatic, and sent me to physical therapy. And so that wasn't working out too well. I went to physical therapy for about 3 weeks, and then I went back to my doctor because the pain was actually starting to move up my back. So then my doctor gave me some Tylenol to take and some other different things, and I was just getting weaker. My legs were getting weaker. Just like all of a sudden I would start walking up the stairs and it was like, wow, this is getting difficult. And then, I don't know, maybe a week later or so, it was very difficult where I had literally pulling myself up the stairs. I couldn't walk. And the worst part was when we were out, me and my husband went out somewhere and I went to use the restroom, I couldn't stand up off the toilet. That was like my biggest thing right there, was like, oh my God, I can't stand up. So then we decided that physical therapy was not quite working. Even my physical therapist said that there's got to be something else going on. And that's when I started getting the numbness in my fingers. My feet and toes started going numb. My shoulder blade on my right shoulder and the back here was completely numb for, I want to say, a month. So then the pain really kicked in, and I kept telling the doctors, you tell doctors things, and I know they got to go by insurance stuff, but I really wish I could have just had an MRI from the get-go instead of messing around with this, so we could have caught this like a month or two earlier. Maybe a better outcome. I don't know. Still kind of caught it pretty early. But anyhow, I'm getting sidetracked here, so this is why I wrote notes. But anyway, but then the back pain kept moving up my spine. And that's what I kept trying to tell them. Everybody was saying, muscles and this and that, and, try to strengthen this and that. And it's like, I kept saying, it feels like it's in my spine. I know I've always had a spine, never felt my spine before. So, nobody was really listening to that part. But anyway, you got to be persistent. I'm not very persistent sometimes. But anyway, I did end up going to the emergency room because the pain was just awful. I could not sleep more than an hour and a half at night. It would start in my hips as soon as I would lay down. The pain started going down my legs. It was going up my spine, across my shoulder blades. Was like the worst. So I spent like weeks, using a heating pad and ice and trying this and trying that. So finally I went to the emergency room. They gave me some medication stuff and sent me to a rheumatologist, which I was lucky enough to get in to see, who had a cancellation, because otherwise I couldn't have gotten in there until November. But anyway, she checked me out. She put me on some steroids and things, and she told me I had polymyalgia rheumatica. Okay. So she gave me a prescription for pain medication, which no one in 100 miles from here had that medication, any of my pharmacies. So I could not get said medication. But it was just, but you know what? It was kind of a blessing, as like one of my neurologist said, it was probably a blessing that I didn't, and I went back to the emergency room, because when I went back to the emergency room the second time is when they admitted me. So thank goodness they didn't have it. So anyway, that was not the diagnosis at all either. So I went back in to the emergency room, and they admitted me, and I'm on the wrong page. So after finally getting admitted and having people listen to me, after my blood pressure was over 200, I think 207 over 90 something, because of the pain that I was in, that they decided we better really check this girl out this time, because something's not right. So anyway, I got admitted. I got all these rheumatologists. I had at least 10 neurologists that were very, very interested in this whole thing. So we started out with 2 CAT scans, or 2 CT scans, mind you, one with contrast, one was without. And if you had that contrast stuff, that burning stuff that goes through you, oh, that's the weirdest stuff they shoot in you to do these CAT scans. But we did 1 CAT scan. We did an MRI of the spine that took about an hour and a half, because they did it for like an hour of just doing a regular MRI, and then like with a contrast thing, they did another half an hour. And those, you guys been in an MRI machine, you know what I'm saying. Those things are horrible. They're loud, they're creepy, they're claustrophobic. I mean, I had earplugs in, and they put on an eye mask on me so I don't open my eyes and look inside that tube, because that tube to me is just terrifying. So anyway, so we had that done of our spine. Then they decided they wanted some fluid from my spine. Well, if you ever had fluid taken out of your spine, this was another horrific freaking procedure for me. I was so terrified. They took me down there, and I had to lace completely still, and then they put this numbing stuff down in your spine, and then they take this needle and they go into your spinal cord and drain out fluid. I've never had anything wrong with me in my life. I swear, I've never been sick. I've never had an operation. I've never had anything. This was like the most traumatic 3 weeks of my life. But anyway, luckily, some people, they say the fluid, it takes a long time to get it out. It drips. Mine came right out. Thank goodness, it was in a hurry. And I was done with that. Not too long. It didn't take me too long. But after that, you have to lay flat on your back for like 2 hours and just don't move. So I did that because, you know, you were just in my spine. I'll do whatever you tell me to do. And that fluid came back that I had very high levels of protein in my spine. So that was one indicator, I'm guessing. Next, they decided that, well, let's do a brain scan, so we didn't miss anything like at the top of my neck, in my brain, whatever. That came back fine. Thank goodness. The MRI of my spine is in wonderful shape. It's everything else that's not. I have nothing wrong with me. I've had every scan you can possibly think. My lungs are clear. My spine is, the discs and things are, you know, just normal for my age and stuff like that. So everything's really good as far as that, besides this stupid disease. All right, so then they did that. So then they started IVIG infusions. So I had to do that for, I think I did those, for 3 days. And they didn't really think that that was going to be the best thing at the time. So then they switched it over to, they wanted to do plasma infusions. So I had to do those for 5 days, not 5 days in a row, one every other day for 5 days. But to do that, I had to go back downstairs and have these lovely ladies and gentlemen. They were wonderful. Those people in the hospital were wonderful. I tell you what, especially the people that have to put like a tube in your jugular vein here. And they had to put this tube in here and had these 2 little wires that stuck out of that. Similar, they said, to a dialysis kind of thing, but a little bit different. Had the 2 tubes, one, I don't know how this all works, but anyway, it takes out your plasma, and it was replaced with 12 bottles of this other stuff that's supposed to be working wonders. Because what CIDP does is my immune system is eating the casing off of my nerves. All your nerves, you know, they come down your spine and they all break out in all different directions. Well, all these little ones that are broken out in different directions, my immune system thinks that the casings on there are very tasty. So they're trying to eat them all off of there, and we're trying to make my immune system stop doing that. Because what that is causing to do as it's doing that is my fingers are totally numb all the time. My fingertips, they're terrible. When I stand up, I get tingling that just goes all the way down both my arms. It's like electrical. It's like an electrical storm going through your arms when you stand up. And now I'm having it in the back of my neck and shoulders, and it makes my head throb when I stand up and stuff too. And yeah, it's different every day. It's like my neurologist says, your nerves are crazy. They do what they want to do. So it's kind of different every day. So I never know what my day is going to be like right now. So anyway, let's see. I'm getting sidetracked again. So we did the plasma infusions, and I guess they figured it was just time for me to get out of the hospital, and the rest of the stuff we're going to do out of the hospital. But to do the pain and stuff, I am on a really high dose of steroids, which is making my face so fat and puffy, and my neck is so fat and puffy. But it's okay. I don't have the pain. And then I am on a nerve blocker. I forget what it's called. Take Tylenol 3 times a day. I just had a test done. I can't remember what the test is called. I had it done last week to see if the nerves are damaged or just the casing is getting damaged so far. That test was awful too. They put these little electrodes on you and zap you, and it feels like it's zapping you down to your bones. I don't know if anybody's ever had that test done either. It's no fun. This has just been an awful few weeks. But anyway, I don't know the results from that. I'll find that out this Thursday. I have to go back to the neurologist so we can set up our plan, which is probably going to be, I'm going to have to go in for those IVIG, which I'll talk about more another time. I don't remember exactly all of what it is. I know it has a lot to do with plasma and stuff too. It's just to try to get my immune system to stop it. So I'll have to go for that once a month, probably for a very, very long time, like months, years. We don't know yet. It all depends. Like I said, everybody's different that has this disease. I don't think anybody's exactly the same, the way that it acts. There's very few people that have it. I think there's only like 30,000 people in the United States that have this disease. Because I went to my family doctor the other day, and he walked in, he goes, he goes, do you know how rare this is? I'm like, yeah, I do. I've had like a team of neurologists staring at me for like 3 weeks, you know, telling me how rare this is. But anyway, through all of those tests is how they narrowed it down from one of the other, because they're very similar, but there's differences between all those other diagnosis diseases too. So it's just slightly, but I guess if I had to have any one of those, this is the one I would rather have, because, you know, it's not like a death sentence or anything like that by any means. All right, so let's see. Then we're going to decide on different meds for pain when I go back to talk to my neurologist, because, you know, steroids are awful for you. And I'm on a really, really high dose of this, which is horrible for my kidneys. It's horrible for my liver. It's horrible for everything. But, you know, you kind of got to weigh out what's what. Do I want to walk again? Do I want to, you know, you got to do what you got to do. So we're coming up with another strategy. I mean, I'm down to a little bit of a lower dose of the steroids right now. And we'll see what's going to happen here. I don't know. Nobody knows. Nobody knows. I mean, right now, I can walk down my hallway, and by the time I take maybe about 20, 30 steps, my leg feels like it's completely dead from like above the knee and down to the foot. I feel like I'm walking on sponges most of the time is how it feels when I walk. I can't walk far. I have a walker. That's 20 to 30 feet with a walker that I'm using in my house. And let me tell you, when they brought that walker out of the hospital, I lost it. I was like, you've got to be kidding me. I mean, you know, a couple months ago, I'm running up and down the stairs, and I'm running up to my car, and I'm in and out of every Dollar Tree in the area, and I'm doing all this stuff, and now they're bringing me a walker. But I told myself I wanted to cry. So let's stop this right now because I'm trying so hard to get over this pity party. And there's nothing I can do. I gotta just fight through this and do what I gotta do. And crying just messes up my makeup. So anyway, I have a beautiful little scooter that I bought. It's a blue one. I'll take a picture of it because we're gonna head out to the Dollar Tree in that this week. And we're gonna get some stuff and do some Dollar Tree hauls because this stupid disease is not gonna stop me from doing what I wanna do. And I wanna do my crafts, which may be difficult. So you're gonna see probably a lot of hauls here for a little bit until this medication gets adjusted. I'm gonna try to do a card making video because I've been sitting and coloring in some of my different things. What am I trying to say? Stamps and things that I've gotten from Temu and things like that. I've been coloring them in to get ready to make some cards, some simple cards, something easy I can do for right now because there's days that I can write out my grocery list and there's days that I can't even hold the pen. So that's just how this thing works. So we'll see. When I'm having a good day, maybe we'll get some crafting done. We'll see. But anyway, I am going to try to get out of my funk here and, you know, I'll still have my pity parties because I'm entitled here. Is there anything else I forgot? I think that's it for now. I'm probably going to do like maybe an update like once a month here. I'm not going to like bore everybody to death with this thing. Because I'm going to be dealing with this for a long, long time. But let me tell you what, when I was laying in bed at Temu, and when I was laying in bed at Temu, let me start that. I may as well have been. While I was laying in bed at the hospital with my laptop, I shopped on Temu for like 2 weeks. Yeah, we have some hauls here. So if I can't get out to the Dollar Tree as much as I want to, I can fill in with these hauls here. I do have a Dollar Tree haul here that I had all set up to go the day that I went to the hospital, and I never got it done. So I'm still going to do that with a few of the Temu things in here. I'm sure everybody wants to see Little P. But again, I just want to thank everybody. Everybody's just been so, so sweet. And I want to thank especially my family. My family was wonderful through all of this. I mean, I'm telling you, the weeks before I went to the hospital and I was in so much pain. I mean, I have my grandson who lives here and I had him, he would just sit and rub my back while I was stomping and crying. And they were just wonderful. And my husband, same thing. And sometimes he was crying and stomping. But I'll tell you what, and my daughters, and they came down at the hospital, and they brought my grandkids, and my son was there, and his wife, and his kids, and it was just, everybody was just so, so wonderful. And I don't know what I would do without them. But thanks so much for watching, everybody, and I swear I will have Little P on here this week. I can't, my husband's not in here right now, and I can't go out and get him by myself, so I'm not going to bring him in for this video, but I promise I will bring him in for the next one. So I hope everybody has a wonderful day, and thank you guys so much again.